In 1995, Warren Buffett took Bill Gates out for lunch in Hong Kong. Not a Michelin star restaurant, not some rooftop bar with a harbor view. They went to McDonald's. And when the bill came, Buffett, at that point already one of the wealthiest people on the planet, reached into his pocket and pulled out a coupon. Gates captured the moment on camera. Years later, he posted it on his personal blog with a single caption: "The Big Spender." Buffett didn't do it because he needed to save a few bucks. He did it because he understood something most people overlook. Wealth isn't built from one big decision. It's built from thousands of small ones, made consistently over many years. Meanwhile, according to a 2023 Slick Deals survey, the average American is losing $314 every month to charges they don't even remember signing up for. That's $3,768 a year, enough to cover a full month of rent in Austin or Denver. The 7 expenses in this video are exactly what's causing that. And the unsettling part isn't the number itself. It's that you're paying for all of them without realizing it. Before the list, I want to explain why small expenses are harder to catch than big ones. Think of it like a slow leak in your apartment. One dripping faucet isn't an emergency. You're not calling maintenance at midnight over a drip, but that faucet runs 24 hours a day, every single day. And at the end of the month, your water bill is way higher than it should be, and you genuinely don't know why. That's exactly how this works. Nothing feels like the problem. Everything feels manageable. And then you look at the total. Let's get into it. Number 1, subscriptions you forgot you're paying for. Think of a subscription like a house guest who never leaves. You invited them in once, they seemed fine, you got busy, and now they've been living in your spare room for 14 months, and you keep forgetting to say anything. The average American is paying for 4.2 streaming services, around $61 a month just for TV. But according to a Chase survey, most people are actively using about 2 of them. The other 2 just run quietly in the background, like apps you never open, and it's never just streaming. There's the meditation app from a stressful week in February, the news site you signed up for to read one article, the cloud storage upgrade, the fitness app that duplicates what your actual gym already offers. I once found a $14.99 charge for a language learning app I hadn't opened in over a year, still charging me. Every month, not because I wanted it, because I forgot it existed. Right now, you can do this while watching. Open your bank statement and look for anything under $20 that repeats monthly. Drop in the comments how many you find. Most people are genuinely surprised. Number 2, bank fees and credit card charges. The average monthly maintenance fee on a U.S. checking account is about $15. That's $180 a year. Just to store your own money, add the average credit card late payment fee of $32. Miss 3 payments in a year, which is easy when you have multiple cards and multiple due dates. And that's another $96. $276 a year. Not for anything, just for existing in the financial system and occasionally forgetting a due date. 2 fixes, both take 5 minutes. Switch to a no-fee bank and set up autopay for the full balance on your cards, not the minimum. That second part matters more than it sounds, and we'll get to exactly why in a minute. Number 3, and I'll say this up front, I'm not going to tell you to stop buying coffee. That advice is everywhere. Everyone's heard it. And honestly, it's not the point. The point is spending on autopilot. Doing something not because you want it, but because that's just what you do. The numbers, $6 at Starbucks, 5 days a week. That's $1,560 a year. Add breakfast out 3 times a week at $12 average. Another $1,872. Together, $3,432 annually in most mid-sized American cities. That's about 6 weeks of rent. Again, not saying cut it. The only question worth sitting with is this: in the past week, how many times did you buy coffee or food out of habit rather than because you actually wanted it? Not hunger, not a treat, just because that's what happens on the way to work. Be honest with yourself on that one. You don't have to tell anyone the answer. Number 4, delivery fees. And this one has quietly gotten out of hand. A delivery fee is like a cover charge at a bar you didn't know had one. You're already inside. You've already opened the app, already picked your food, and by the time you see the total, you're committed. Ordering delivery feels like spending $18 on a burger. What you're actually spending? $18 for the food, $4.99 delivery fee, $3 service fee, plus a default 20% tip that was already selected before you touched anything. That $18 meal is $30. 3 deliveries a week puts you at $70 to $90 a month in fees alone, not counting the food. Up to $1,080 a year, just in charges. And about that default tip, DoorDash and Uber Eats pre-select 20 to 25% before you hit confirm. Most people don't change it, not because they decided to tip that amount, because they didn't notice the choice was already made for them. Next time you open a delivery app, before you confirm, just look at the fee breakdown for 5 seconds. That's it. See what's actually there. Number 5, the gym membership you're definitely going to use starting Monday. A gym membership you don't use is like paying rent on a parking spot for a car you don't own. You're paying for access, not for actually showing up. Average gym membership in the US, $58 a month, $696 a year. According to research from the Journal of Health Economics, about 67% of gym members go less than once a month. Do that math. 1 visit a month means you're paying $58 per visit. That's more expensive than a personal training session at most gyms. I kept a membership for 8 months once, telling myself I'd get consistent when things calmed down. They didn't. I spent $464, went maybe 5 times, and canceled when I realized I'd forgotten the door code. If you have a gym membership right now, when did you last go? If you had to actually think about it, you already know what the answer means. Quick pause. We're halfway through, and we've already identified somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 a year. From 5 completely normal spending habits, nothing exotic, nothing irresponsible. The next 2 are different. They don't look like small expenses, but they show up in amounts that feel manageable, which is exactly why they're easy to ignore for years. Number 6, credit card interest. And this is the most expensive item on this entire list. No analogy needed here. The numbers speak for themselves. Current average APR on a U.S. credit card, around 21% as of early 2025. If you're carrying a $3,000 balance, which is very common, you're paying roughly $630 a year in interest, not for anything new, just for the balance sitting there. If you're making minimum payments, say $60 a month on that $3,000, it takes over 5 years to pay off. Total interest paid by the end, close to $1,500. You borrowed $3,000 and paid back $4,500 for stuff you already bought, already used, and probably already forgot about. And unlike a gym membership, you can't just cancel it. You have to pay it down if you're currently carrying a balance and only making minimum payments. I'm linking a video at the end that goes into exactly how to approach this. It's worth watching after this one. Number 7, and this one's a little different from the rest. Money spent on a version of yourself that hasn't shown up yet. Buying for your future self is like buying a plane ticket for someone who might not make the flight. You fully intend for them to be there. They just don't always show up on schedule. You know this purchase, the cast iron skillet, still in the box after 14 months, because you were going to start cooking at home more. The running shoes for the half-marathon training plan you downloaded and never opened. The investing book you bought because this was finally going to be the year you understood your 401k. According to a civic science survey, the average American household has around $1,100 worth of unused items. Clothes worn fewer than 3 times. Gadgets still in packaging. Workout gear from a motivated phase that lasted 11 days. Nobody buys a cast iron skillet thinking they won't use it. But that version of yourself, the one who meal preps on Sundays and has everything figured out, they don't always show up when expected. Let's add it up. Forgotten subscriptions, $360 a year. Bank and card fees, $276. Mindless coffee and breakfast, $1,500. Delivery fees, $1,080. Gym you're not using, $696. Credit card interest, $630. Stuff bought for a future self, $500. Roughly $5,000 a year from 7 categories that all felt completely reasonable at the time. And to be straight about something, I'm not saying cut all of this. Some of it is genuinely worth it. If you watch Netflix every night, keep it. If your Saturday morning Starbucks run is how you decompress, that's your money doing exactly what it should. None of this is about cutting everything. It's about knowing which of these you'd actually choose to keep, if you thought about it for 10 seconds. Some you would. Some, if you're honest, you probably wouldn't. That's the difference between $5,000 spent on things you chose and $5,000 that just disappeared. Out of these 7, which one hit closest to home? For me, it's the subscriptions and the future self-purchases, every time. I have a French press sitting in my cabinet right now that I bought because I was going to stop getting coffee out. It's been there 18 months. The irony is genuinely not lost on me. If this was useful, share it with someone who keeps wondering where their money goes every month. See you there.